What's going on, guys, and welcome to episode 2 of This Week in the Shop. Now, you guys seem to like episode 1 on some of the weird or interesting things that go on in a Mopar shop, so I thought we would continue on with some weird, interesting things that I did or that we saw this week in the shop. Now, it got really cold here in Kansas, and we had a whole bunch of snow on the ground. And one of those things that is hard on is electronics, batteries, hybrid vehicles for that matter. So we've got a couple of 4xe things. Now, don't get me wrong, we've replaced or done quite a few of these even in the warm summer months. So it's not just some cold affected thing, but we seem to get quite a few of them all of a sudden once it got really cold. And what I'm talking about here is the 4xe Grand Cherokee and the 4xe Wrangler. Those have a coolant heater on those. They actually have two different coolant heaters, one for the cabin and one for the high voltage battery system side of things. And for whatever reason, we see a whole bunch of them, or not a whole bunch. We only see the bad ones or the broken ones there at the shop, but we see some of them come in with the electric system disabled, where the vehicle won't run in electric only mode and it just will run the gasoline engine. You check, it's got a code for coolant heater performance, and we are then replacing the coolant heater, which lives under the vehicle. Similar location on the Grand Cherokee and the Wrangler, but it's this weird looking box thing. It's got a coolant line in, it's got a coolant line out, and it's got a high voltage connector to work the heater, which then heats the coolant to heat the battery, etc. So again, that's a thing covered under warranty, so it's not costing the customer anything. Again, I believe that's even covered under the even longer, like high voltage warranty side of things. So again, not really an issue for the customer other than the inconvenience of having to bring it into a dealership. We luckily have a bunch of them in stock, and it's a pretty quick and easy replacement. So just kind of a weird thing that we're seeing on these 4xe Grand Cherokees. To go along with that coolant heater, we all of a sudden are seeing quite a few Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xe's with a lack of heat from the HVAC system. We didn't really see these in the summer, but we are seeing them now that they're cold. There is a coolant valve located under the wiper cowl there on the kind of passenger side. That has a electronic coolant valve, which can shut off the coolant flow to the heater core in the dash to make heat, which I assume it needs to be able to shut off coolant flow so it can be diverted towards whatever else is in that cooling loop, the heater, the high voltage side of things. We are seeing that coolant valve fail closed, which doesn't cause any catastrophic issues for the vehicle other than the fact you have no coolant heat going into the HVAC housing. So you have no heat in your 4xe Grand Cherokee. And now that it's 17 degrees here in Kansas, yeah, that's an issue. It's inconvenient to say the least. That one is kind of more of an inconvenience there. Again, it's covered under warranty. It's not a detrimental repair. You kind of unclip the wiper cowl panel, bow that up out of the way. The valve is kind of not convenient to get to, but it's really not too bad. But just kind of a weird failure thing that we're seeing now that it's cold outside, and these 4xe Grand Cherokees coming in with a lack of heat. Now, we aren't just going to be picking on 4xe hybrid stuff. The tried and true 3.6 liter doesn't really love the cold weather either. On the 3.6 liter, that's in literally everything Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge, there is a engine oil cooler. That thing lives in the valley of the engine, underneath the upper intake manifold, the lower intake manifold, and then you're finally able to get to that oil cooler. For whatever reason, when it gets really cold, we see a whole bunch of them come in leaking. It is a relatively costly repair. There's a decent amount of labor involved in tearing all the way down to get to that oil cooler and then replace it. Now, typically in the shop, we are replacing with a new Mopar cooler. It is another plastic cooler, but for the most part, once they've been replaced, we really don't see those come back again the next year or the year after that. So I would assume something has been revised, or maybe it just takes a lot longer for that new part to fail if it's going to fail again. There's some aftermarket solutions out there with metal oil coolers or aluminum oil coolers. But again, I've seen those come in leaking from the O-rings and gaskets. So I'm not really sure what the proper or what the correct fix forever fix is. If it was my personal vehicle, I would just be putting a new Mopar cooler on it, making sure my O-rings are in good shape and going back together. But we see those come in quite a bit once it gets cold outside. Now, on the term of crazy expensive parts and pieces, which is kind of every part on modern vehicles, unfortunately, nowadays. Recently had a Jeep Grand Wagoneer come into the shop with a night vision camera issue. And if you didn't know, you can option night vision camera on your Grand Wagoneer, and that is a forward-facing camera on the front of the vehicle that displays a night vision image on the instrument cluster. You could be pulling through a neighborhood in the dark and it's going to be able to see and kind of highlight people, places, things that might be in the roadway that you can't see yet. Kind of a cool thing, I guess, but unfortunately, like I said, I had one come in with a night vision camera unavailable issue. Started looking into it, scanning for codes, looking at software updates, etc., and finally found that small night vision camera had gotten a rock chip and cracked the lens. Now, unfortunately, even though a vehicle might be under warranty, rock chip or outside damage not caused from the manufacturing process is not a warrantable item. I don't make the call. That's Chrysler or any manufacturer's kind of terminology from, an outside influence. So just like a windshield, if you were to get a big rock chip and it crack across the windshield, that's not really something covered by the vehicle manufacturer. You are unfortunately on the hook for that repair. That small night vision camera was $1,750. Yeah, that's not counting labor and calibration and programming and all of that. That's just the darn camera that lives behind the front grille. That requires bumper removal to be able to replace that. Then you've got to calibrate it, clear codes. It's quite a process. And again, it's not something that you would be forced to replace because the vehicle would still drive, function, everything fine like it should, but your night vision camera then wouldn't work on your very fancy Grand Wagoneer. So again, we're not picking on parts and pieces. It's just some of these darn things cost a whole lot of money to fix or repair. So like I said, I kind of wanted to show you guys a little bit on the inside of the shop world. Last but not least, we're circling back around to our 4xe Wranglers and Grand Cherokees. There is a new recall that is finally out, and we are finally able to perform in the shop. Now, yes, there's millions of recalls on all kinds of vehicles, and normally it's a part replacement or a software update to fix some sort of weird programming error. This one's kind of interesting. This one is to test for the high voltage battery to determine if it is a good battery or a bad battery. And it's kind of interesting how we're testing it. Now, we are pulling the vehicle into the shop. We are doing a whole bunch of software updates. There's like 4 or 5 different software updates we need to do to that vehicle for the battery pack control module, the engine computer, the transmission computer, the hybrid control processor. Like I said, a whole plethora of software updates, which is always good. After those software updates are done, we need to plug that vehicle into our level 2 charger to charge the battery over 75%. Now, once we are up to our 75% and all of our software updates are done, we then need to warm our engine coolant to over 160 degrees. So that requires the hood to be popped so the gasoline engine will sit there, run, and idle while it warms the coolant. Once we've got our software updates, our high voltage battery over 75% and our engine coolant over 160 degrees, we now get to go out and do a drive learn procedure. What this drive cycle procedure is doing is basically loading all the high voltage system. I'll kind of throw our little guide here on the screen, but you start at 30 miles an hour and accelerate up to 40 miles an hour in a 3-second window. You then coast, let off the throttle, and coast the vehicle down to 35 miles an hour, and then proceed to accelerate up to 45 miles an hour, and then to coast again down to 30, and then finally to accelerate up to 50 miles an hour. And all of this, again, is, I assume, to get some load on that battery, on the EV motor, all of that to really, again, load test that high voltage battery. After that whole drive cycle is done, again, we have to have our scan tool with us plugged into the vehicle, a wireless hotspot in the vehicle, and then our phones are running our scan tool software with all of this connected. I forgot to mention that while we're driving, we've got to have our phone in hand running that software. Once that drive cycle has successfully completed, and if you go through it once and it doesn't show complete, you need to make the whole loop again. Once you get that drive cycle to complete, you get a big happy green message saying battery passed, good battery, proceed back to the dealership. So we've had quite a few of these. Again, it is on the Wrangler and the Grand Cherokee, and that recall was pending for quite a while before this whole procedure and software update came out. So it's good the recall is finally out and we're able to get them into the dealership and get them done, but it's just quite a weird or interesting procedure. Like I said, normally a recall is a part replacement or a software update or checking some part for torque. But this one requires software updates, charging high voltage batteries, getting engine coolant up to temp, and then going out and doing a weird drive cycle. And you can imagine how the people behind you on the road appreciate you accelerating and decelerating and accelerating and decelerating over and over. You look like a drunk driver. And then during this whole procedure, you've got your phone in your hand watching the factory scan tool. I'm sure one of us will get pulled over one of these times, and it'll be a really interesting negotiation with the police officer trying to explain why we're watching our phone and driving like a drunk driver. But hopefully we are doing it to get your 4xe Wrangler or Grand Cherokee showing that it has a good passed battery so we don't have any fire issues in your garage, home, whatever. So guys, I think that is going to do it today for our This Week in the Shop. And as long as you guys like this, I'm going to keep doing this. We're going to do a sit down at the end of every week, and I hopefully have taken some cool or interesting pictures of these repair processes or screenshots of our procedure as we're doing them and letting you guys know what goes on almost every single day here in the shop. And guys, thanks so much for coming out here and listening to me ramble on about my day today at a Mopar dealership. And guys, as always, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys next time.